Hi everybody, I'm Miss Kimberly. I am the school outreach librarian, almost forgot who I was, at the Algonquin Area Public Library down in the Youth Services Department. And today I'm going to talk to you about 5 of the books on the Rebecca Caudill Award list. And that is a selection of books that is considered excellent for 5th through 8th graders. And I have quite the mix today. There's a large variety in this 5 books. So let's just get started. Our first one is called Black Brother, and it is by Jewel Parker Rhodes. And this is the story of twin brothers, and they are biracial. So they have one parent who is white and one parent who is African American. Dante's skin is dark, and his brother Trey's skin is light. Dante, who is considered the black brother, is one of the few black kids at Middlefield Prep School, where the boys go to school. He is bullied because of the color of his skin, especially by a popular jock named Alan. One day, Alan throws a pencil and Dante is accused of the act. This leads to him being suspended and then arrested, and his fight for justice begins. Dante decides to learn how to fence, which is like sword fighting with that long, skinny sword, in case you didn't know what fencing is, to challenge Alan on his own turf. For Dante to make it there, he needs to develop skills in the sport. Coach Jones provides that training at the Boys and Girls Club, but also shares invaluable life lessons with Dante. A great coach and a supportive team are exactly what the brothers need to move forward. So this book might make you feel some feelings. The brothers are very close, but the fact that Dante gets bullied at school and Trey doesn't just because of their skin difference has definitely created some tension between them, and what happens to Dante really isn't fair, and he knows it really isn't fair, and his brother knows it really isn't fair. So there's a lot of feelings that they go through in this book to get through it. So it is an excellent read. It's great for middle school, and it'll make you think maybe about their situation and about bullying and about gaining confidence to stand up for yourself and be proud of who you are. So Black Brother by Jewel Parker Rhodes. Excellent choice. This next story is called The Best at It, and it is by Malik Pancholi. And this is a really sweet book, and I'll read you the opening line. Chelsea and I are playing Just Dance in the basement when my grandfather, Bai, calls down the stairs. It's the last day of your vacation. You kids need to get out of the house. So begins the story of Rahul and Chelsea, best friends about to enter middle school in a small town in Indiana. There's our main character. Rahul loves his grandfather very much and often seeks out his advice. When his grandfather tells him to choose something to be the best at, Rahul becomes obsessed with winning at anything. So you can see all of the different things perhaps that he's trying on the front cover of the book. He wants to be the best at something. But is he doing all of this to avoid dealing with his own questions about whether or not he is gay? But is being the best good enough? Will it solve all his problems? And what if it turns out Rahul isn't the best at anything? Which happens, right? Lots of people aren't the best at something. So this is a very sweet book, and it is funny. Rahul and Chelsea have a really great relationship. The grandfather offers some wisdom and also a little bit of comedic relief. And it's just a really cute story as Rahul tries to figure out who he is and what he wants and if he is actually the best at anything. And it was a Stonewall Honor book, which means that it was considered an excellent choice as a piece of LGBTQ plus literature. So definitely check this one out. The Best at It. Now we're going to go a completely different direction, and we're going to talk about a horror novel. I have a really hard time with horror novels, so if you're wimp like me, I will say this one is definitely a little scary, but it's not like super duper scary. So this one is called Scritch Scratch, and even that title is very scary. And this story is about Claire. So in Scritch Scratch, Lindsay Curry, who is the author of this book, delivers a little bit of Chicago history, because this book takes place in Chicago, with a twist in the story of Claire, who likes science way more than ghost stories. Me too, Claire. Her dad, unfortunately, is so enamored with Chicago's haunted legends that he has given up his day job as a teacher and taken on driving the haunted Chicago tour bus. So I don't know that the haunted Chicago tour bus actually exists, but there really are ghost tours you can take in Chicago. And we do have books in the library about the haunted places in Chicago, so if that's something that interests you, you should come and check them out. Meanwhile, Claire is dealing with a ghost who follows her home one night after she helps out her dad on his tour bus. Who is the dark-eyed little boy who leaves scraps of paper and writes 396 on her bathroom wall? What is his story, and why is he hunting Claire? So you'll learn a little bit about Chicago history because the locations in this book are real locations, while Claire goes through and tries to solve the mystery of the creepy little child who is following her around and writing numbers on everything that only she can see. So it is a little scary. It's not terribly scary, but here's the creepy little child there on the bus. So if you like horror movies, if you like something a little spooky, we do get a lot of kids asking for horror, and this would be a really good option. So Scritch Scratch by Lindsay Curry. She's a local author. And we're going to pivot again completely away, and we are going to talk about this one, which is a realistic fiction, and it's by Jacqueline Woodson, who is a very prolific and very well-known and beloved author. And this is not a long book. It's pretty short. It's only less than 200 pages. So this is the book about ZJ. And for as long as ZJ can remember, his dad's been everyone's hero. He is a popular pro football star, so he plays in the NFL. And he's as beloved to the neighborhood kids as he is to millions of sport fans. But lately, his dad's been forgetting stuff and has turned really moody and sometimes angry. The doctors think it might be because he's had so many concussions, which is a common problem in professional football players. But they're not sure how to help him. ZJ's scared and has a lot of questions. Will his friends stop coming over because his dad is really unpredictable? Will his father ever get better? And are their glory days gone forever? For now, though, ZJ's just doing his best to get by, taking comfort in his music and the friends who do have his back. Somehow, whatever's coming next doesn't seem half as scary with them cheering him on. So the title comes from ZJ thinking about that he would really like to go back to before, because he feels like his dad's condition is going to be the ever after, and he wants to go back to before his dad was having all these problems. So this book won the Coretta Scott King Award, which is an award for fiction by an African American author, and obviously the characters are African American. And this is something that a lot of children of professional football players might actually be facing, because a lot of professional football players, because they get hit in the head so often, end up having trouble with concussions, and they do have these things where they have a lot of forgetfulness, and sometimes they don't recognize their own family members, and they can have big mood swings and get really angry. So there is some truth in this book, and this is a really beautiful book. Jacqueline Woodson is a really amazing author, and she does a beautiful job telling this story and ZJ's process in healing and accepting the changes in his dad. So, before the ever after. And our last book is a really fun one, and it is called The Total Eclipse of Nestor Lopez, and it's by Adriana Cuevas. Nestor Lopez's father is in the military and currently deployed overseas, so he and his mother have moved in with his abuela in New Haven, Texas. Nestor is used to moving around a lot and thinks he knows what to expect, but New Haven holds some surprises for him. Besides getting used to a new school and making new friends, Nestor will have to deal with the most annoying talking animals he's ever met. Yes, Nestor can talk to animals. It takes a really dramatic swerve there, because you think it's just going to be about a kid who's a military brat, and instead he's a kid who's a military brat who can have conversations with animals. But, shh, that's a secret. When those animals are in trouble, Nestor discovers that he and his new friends will have to battle a mysterious witch to save his new home. So what starts out sounding like a regular realistic fiction novel quickly becomes a fantasy novel. This is really funny. The animals are hilarious in this book, and they are extremely obnoxious to Nestor, who has to listen to them all the time. But if you are an animal lover, this is a great story, because they do come to Nestor for help, and he does help them because, well, number one, because that's the quickest way to get them to stop talking. But number two, because he also loves animals and wants to protect them. So it's a little bit of adventure, it's a little bit of fantasy, and I think you'll really like Nestor as a character. He's a very relatable middle schooler who is exasperated by the constant talking animals. So, All right, that was 5 books from the Caudill list. Thank you so much for listening. I do hope you come into the Algonquin Library and check some of those out. They might also be in your school library. And teachers, if you would like any book talks in person in your classroom, you know where to find me. Thank you.